Hi guys, Herbalist40 here, and welcome to my new series, Herb's What Ifs. And hopefully this is going to allow me to show you some interesting connections that are to be taken as separate Easter eggs for now, or possibly even glitches for some of them. I'll also be taking some interesting suggestions from you in the comment section below, and I'll be starting this off in my next episode, and it will be a suggestion from Ryan Leek. So my next episode, buddy, I've got you. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten what you showed me. But for today, I have two subjects to bring you. The first is the alternate ending to the mission Something Sensible, where we get to kill Trevor. Or rather, in this case, we're going to have Michael do it by not reacting with Franklin. Now, I know some of you may have seen this, but I would advise you watch through the clip that I've provided here, because I have actually pointed out a few interesting things during the clip itself. And I will actually join you in the second half of the video, so enjoy the clip and see you in a bit.
Hey man, how you doing?
Shit, I'm good, T. And yourself?
Peachy. I know what this is about.
You do?
Of course! It's Michael! You're the peacemaker! Well, I ain't having it, alright? I ain't having it. I mean, maybe when the heat dies down. But this, nah, I ain't having. I mean, that's it, right? Huh? Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
But Michael ain't the problem. T, I like you. You scare the shit out of me sometimes. You creep me the fuck out. But the way I see it, the way anyone normal would see it, not that any of this shit is normal, man, you gonna get us all fucking killed.
You gonna whack me? Huh? Me? I ain't been nothing but straight and true with you.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, you have been true. But the truth ain't what I'm interested in.
You fucking Judas! You're just like him! Oh my God! Fuck! I thought I was with one Judas, and I'm surrounded by them! You fake motherfuckers! You want a piece of me? Fucking come at me! You wanna kill me? Take a fucking shot! Do it, for Christ's sake! Fuck, kid! You always like gasoline, Trevor!
Man, that was your best fucking friend!
Fuck you. Oh! Woo! Ah!
You know what, tough guy? It's time you grow the fuck up. I mean, I admit I'm a bad piece of work, but that guy, that piece of shit, no boundaries, no sense of when to back off, no nothing. 24/7 insanity, day in, day out, all the time. Never regretted nothing, never cared for nothing. Well, fuck him. I mean, there's gotta be a limit, kid. You know, a point where even assholes like us say, enough is fucking enough. Human stew. That's my limit. I know that now.
guess that's that then.
It is what it is.
Hey, it's certainly been an education.
Surviving is winning, Franklin. Everything else is bullshit. Fairy tales spun by people afraid to look life in the eye. Whatever it takes, kid. Survive.
Damn straight.
Right, so to point out the obvious, it's a very interesting alternate ending, to say the least, I suppose. But I'm not going to really stop about the things that I pointed out during the clip. They kind of explain themselves, and for those of you who've been hunting for a while, you understand why I highlighted those elements. You may not have thought to have done so yourselves. But my question is that, in your opinions, is there any possibility that we've skipped another, how would I say, scene like that during our storyline? Is there any possibility that at any moment, if we use patience or something like that to trigger a different result? I don't know, I really wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I will be starting a new playthrough pretty soon to test this out for myself, but I was just thinking that maybe if some of you are actually doing that at the moment, you could try and take it into consideration for the moment. But for the second part of the video, basically, what I have for you is this purple 4x4 that's parked behind the Vanilla Unicorn in one of my save files. Now, I don't really have a way to prove it, but you're just going to have to take my word for it and trust that I wouldn't make this up for no reason. I don't really have much point to. But this car, at some point during my storyline on this particular save, just appeared behind the Vanilla Unicorn. Now, I do own it with Trevor, and I can actually park cars here. I don't. I know I don't, because I get frustrated when I come back and my car's not there anymore, and this has happened to me so many times when I had the game on old gen that I haven't even bothered since, and I know I haven't. Now, the thing is with this car, I've tried to get rid of it a few times, and now I have finally managed to get rid of it permanently, but the only way I could do that was actually moving it out of the car space, putting another car in its place, and then saving the game. If not, for some reason, it just kept reappearing, and always with the same number plate. So I've highlighted the number plate on the screen for you, and as you can see at first glance it isn't anything that special, and then it really started to bug me. As I said, I couldn't really get rid of the car, and I tried lots of different ways and only one worked. But I'm going to do a little breakdown of the number plate itself and basically how would I put it, the research that it led me to and the interesting connections that I've made to the game. Now, again, this is to be taken as either a separate Easter egg or maybe even nothing at all, possibly a glitch, but I think you'll agree with me that what follows is pretty interesting. So I'm going to bring up the breakthrough for you, or the breakdown for you now. And don't worry about the colouring, like there's no particular reason for the red, gold and green. I just thought they were good colours to distinguish what I was going to be talking about. But anyway, we're going to concentrate on 44 to start with, as those are the sections I've broke it down into. Now, I will tell you guys, before I get into 44, I started this video at about 11 o'clock this morning my time, and it's now about 5 to 2. Yeah, it's 5 to 2 in the morning. So I've been here over half of a day, pretty much non-stop putting this together. And that does include most of the research as well, but I just want you guys to understand that I appreciate you following me, and for that I'll put extra effort into my content. So I've kind of used this video to try and understand a little bit, the basics at least, of editing, because I haven't actually used anything other than the Share Factory and just basically my HD camera, and just associating different clips and trimming them. So for this one I've decided to add these images to sort of back up what I'm trying to explain to you. So as you can see here, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and it does get more and more interesting as it goes along through the number plate. But just for 44, I'm just going to say duality of 88, and 88 is important to us because of what? Well, because as I'm sure you all know, 88 is 88 miles per hour, and another quick reference is that Franklin is born in 1988. There are a couple others, such as graffiti, but I'm not really going to get into that right now. I believe that the following parts of the number plate have a lot more to show us. Moving on to the middle section, which was in yellow, and that was IBY. If you want to break down the letters, two obvious responses and also interesting responses are I beat you. I don't know if you remember this, but we do have a reference to that in Textile City on the Textile City mural, in the sense that how you played the game. And there's also I believe you, which is kind of personal to me when I kind of tell you that this could be complete and utter nonsense. So it's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but the message is kind of strange. But rather than just break them down, I decided that it might be worth researching IBY by itself, and basically I came upon IB Nil, and IB Nil is a woman who survived the Holocaust. It's also important to point out that she is of Slovakian descent, so I think it was her mother who was Slovakian, and Wispy Woods has already made some quite interesting connections to Slovakia on a few different points. Again, I don't like losing myself in the detail. I like keeping you concentrated on the topic at hand. So we're going to stick with IB Nil and who she is. As you can see here, I've chosen to point out one of her quotes, and it is, "Unless we can teach people to understand each other, to tolerate and respect the differences, there really is no future for humanity." Okay, so basically as a young woman or as a child, she lived in Germany and she was a Jew. And during the Nazi invasion or the Holocaust and all that era, to get to safety for someone in her situation, the way to go was Hungary, so to cross the Hungarian border. So she did this, but things didn't go quite according to plan, and she ended up getting captured. But what's important to note in this story is that the Nazis actually invaded Hungary in 1944, and there's a very important reason why I'm bringing 44 up again, and 1944 in general. This is where the in-game connections are going to kick in. I do have some game footage to show you for that, but before I do have one last image to show you about IB before we get into that. So, as I said, she was captured, tortured, and suffered the camps, the concentration camps, but she was liberated by the American army on Easter Sunday, 1945. I want you to bear in mind concentration camps. So I've made my way down to the art gallery, and I know that the images on the gallery itself are very interesting, and I have done some research on them, and I will be getting to them in the future, but what I want to point out now is inside the building itself is this structure, and it does have 1944 written on it. Now, I'm going to zoom back in a minute and show you an image of the billboard that basically links upward from this structure inside the art building. Now it has 1944 on it as well, but the image is that of tents, i.e. camping. Now I want you to bear in mind, as I said, the concentration camps. Now I know this is a bit of a stretch and this is the whole point of this particular series, but you can see here that this is tents linked with survival, linked with camping. It's not just camping, it's also survival. Now it's a bit of a stretch. Again, I'm going to say it, this is the point of this particular series. Is there a possible correlation here between the Holocaust and this particular date and these particular signs? Because I'm going to show you in just a second another clip where I find this particular date or number on another billboard. So I'm not going to go into the full detail, but as you can see here, it is on the Capo Lavoro billboard, and I believe this is all highly tied and also includes my Stanley Kubrick theories. But just to finish off the clip on this part of the number plate, I'm just going to show you the billboard next to this to show you, obviously for those of you who are going to jump in and say, but they might all have 1944 on them. No, they don't. The numbers vary quite a bit. So for the last part of the number plate here, I'm going to break it down like I did with IBY to start with. So for the number 8, the biggest correlation is going to be Infinity and the Infinity Killer, and that general gist of what the number 8 represents. For the number 5, we have many connections. Michael in total makes about 5, he makes a total of 5 payments to the Epsilon program. I believe Trevor has 5 Vinewood souvenir missions. There's a hell of a lot of things that come with the number 5, not to mention that we are actually playing GTA 5. As far as the number 6 goes, again, it's highly related to Satan, the number of the beast, also the Illuminati, and Luciferianism in general. If we look at it as a unit though, same as IBY, it kind of shows some things which to me are a little bit more interesting. The first one is just a kind of little point out, and that is that it's the area code for New Jersey, and the area code for New Jersey, this particular one, was created in 1999. Now, known as the code page 856, it enables Hebrew text. So what you're looking at is page 856, the Hebrew text, and the connection is simple, and Bry's brought it up many times before, is the references to Hebrew things in the game are quite abundant, same as with the Greeks and their mythologies. So when we look at this number as the year 856, according to the Julian calendar, the year would have started on a Wednesday, and the year would have been a leap year. That's kind of interesting, depending on what we're talking about the moon and astrology and all sorts of connections we're making like that. But by area, the main events in this year were in Asia, a deadly earthquake that killed 200,000 people. Now I know that's interesting for some people in their research. Now what I want to kind of point out here, which was interesting to me, that during this year in Europe, Ethelbald takes the throne of Ethelwulf. Now the two names are very interesting, and Ethelbald is in fact Ethelwulf's son. And we also have the repopulation of the town Leon. Leon, lion, another big connection. And finally we have in the Byzantine Empire, I'm not too sure how you pronounce that, but a guy called Bardus basically becomes regent for the Emperor Michael III. So again, Michael III, not too difficult to make the connection for yourselves there. Also in the Byzantine Empire we have another earthquake, and this was in Corinth, Greece, and this killed 45,000 people. So again, Greece, quite a big connection there. And also concerning Michael III, another big event was a discussion between him and a man from Iran, and basically it was regarding the trading of spices. Now, I haven't really done that much research on Michael the Third, or Emperor Michael the Third, but I will hopefully be getting into that sometime soon. But anyway, guys, that's going to be kind of it for today's episode. As I said, it was me trying to also figure out a little bit of how editing works, trying to make things a little bit more understandable, trying to make things look a little bit better. Also the fact that for some reason on Share Factory my mic doesn't work. I'm using it now and I've tested it out before I actually uploaded the video, and it seems to be working fine. So I can't quite figure that out. It's the same mic, works on one, it doesn't on the other. Beats me. But anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. You know, always cheers me up. And for those of you who've been sticking around for a while now, thank you very much. I'll be back with you hopefully tomorrow with something quite interesting. But for the meantime, guys, as usual, take it easy and see ya.